Hello and happy holidays. It's my pleasure to present to you our very special Holiday Treasures video. We've selected two of our most popular at-home programs to help make your Christmas planning easier. So let's start at the beginning with appetizers. Enjoy.
At home, enjoy the time we share with a dash of this and a pinch of that, mixed all up with care. The best company and conversation, recipes and new creations. We're cooking up something good here at home. We are cooking up something good here at home.
Hello and welcome to At Home today. I am just looking at some of the beautiful Christmas cards that you've been sharing with me, and I appreciate it so much. I like the ones with the little houses, because this really is at home. And we appreciate the greetings. Isn't it nice to get greetings from your friends? People that you haven't heard from for maybe all year long will stop and take time to address a card to you, and that is really meaningful. It is to me. I want to thank all of you that showed up at Woolies on Saturday. Didn't we have a good time? Hope you did. It was nice meeting so many of you folks, and we thank the Woolly Company, for, Balcony Cookware, for allowing us to be there. And that was just real special. Maybe we'll get to do some more of that in the future. Today, we're really going to get things started with appetizers and finger foods. Like if you want to have a party, but not a full-fledged party like with a dinner or some great, huge cost factor to you, you can do some finger foods and some small parties where people just kind of mingle and you serve your beverages, and their conversation times more than sit down and eat times. And that's what we're going to show today, is some ideas for some appetizers and a wonderful dip for fruits called a harvest dip that is so easy the kids can make it. Before we begin, though, I want to tell you too that these wonderful fruit baskets are available at the Jordan Banana Company. They have any kind of a basket you could imagine. Just call up, ask for Pat or Doug or someone there that will be glad to help you. And they have any size, any shape, anything you want in it, they'll be glad to help you. This is a season when this is the perfect gift for somebody that has everything. It's a wonderful gift. Well, get your papers and pencils ready because we're going to get started. It's just a few days before Christmas and we got a lot of work to do. We'll be back right after this message. Today's at-home hint. Antipasto can be eaten as an appetizer or as a main course. For a main course, serve with plenty of fresh, crusty bread and the beverage of your choice. If you've got a helpful hint that you'd like to share, we want to hear from you. Send your hint to At Home Hints, CTV, Wall, Pennsylvania, 15148-1499. Well, to get started, we're going to talk about an antipasto tray. And this is one of the easiest things in the world to make if you're going to have this kind of a party or a get-together. Let me show you this dish here. I trust you can see this is very simple and very basic. All you do is we'll start here with the broccoli, cherry tomatoes, one type of a light cheese, your green olives. This is marinated artichokes, green pepper, chunks of ham, black olives, red pepper, cauliflower, pepperoncinis, rolled salami, another Swiss cheese, and you're back to the broccoli. Now that is all sitting on a tray that has a bed of lettuce to it, because when your friends and family, the guests, begin to eat these things off, then they can take on their plates some of the lettuce base that it's on. There's a dressing on the lettuce base, and it makes a very nice tray. There's a variety of things here. What I would put in these little peppers, I have a red pepper and a green pepper. I'm going to make a dip that you can put out with this so that folks can dip these things in. It's very simple. Basically, you're going to take a half a cup of mayonnaise, put it in a bowl, and you say, oh, Arlene, that's a lot of work. Really, it isn't. I did that today Of course, I have a little help here, chunking the cheese and things, but it didn't take that long. It's just the assembly. What you keep in mind when you're assembling is the color. Obviously, you wouldn't put all the greens on one side and all the whites on one side. You want to break them up. And that really is very simple to make. This is 8 ounces of sour cream. Okay? You have your sour cream and your mayonnaise. Then you take the dry, Good Seasons Italian dressing mix, and you just pour it in there. That's all there is in this. I mean, there's not anything else except those 3 ingredients. And if you have the time, it's good to let this sit in the refrigerator for about an hour. But if you don't worry about it. If you're running late and you're rushing and you say, oh, I forgot to make the dip, no problem. Just be sure you take something to fill the pepper up with. And I like it because then, that pepper, someone could even eat that later if they so desired. But you fill up both of these, and it makes enough for a dip that will accommodate this whole antipasta tray. You would want to have something beside this, and when we show at the end of the program, I'll show you that you need some little fancy toothpicks or something like that so that people can get it off the tray, because you don't want to have everything at one place so that everybody kind of congregates in one area. You want to spread your things out. At a party like this, conversation is really what you're looking for, because you need to group foods in different areas of your room. Take some chairs out. If you have 10 guests, have seating only for 6 people. That means there's 4 people that don't have a chair, but then see, they'll mingle. So some will be standing over there. Everybody isn't in one conversation then. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So there we are. This is our, let's put a little bit of this parsley. I have to get my reach over here, just to decorate the top of it. Nice clean parsley. Isn't that nice? And that's really, you say, oh, that looks so hard. It isn't hard. And you can make this to any kind of a combination of the things that you put on. It can be anything you want. You can put pepperoni on there. You can put prosciutto. You can put stuffed eggs. Anything you want. This is our antipasta tray. I think it turned out real nice, don't you? Okay, moving right along. The second thing I want to show you, and this is so simple, it's almost, I feel funny telling you, but it really is easy. You go to the store and you ask for roast beef in the deli section, and they will give you slices like this. Tell them to cut it not exceptionally thin, but not real thick either. And what you want to do is take a sharp knife, not a serrated edge knife, because it will tear the meat, and just cut it in half if it's a wide piece of roast beef like this. So you have pieces about that width, all right? Now you're going to take some cream cheese, just a little chunk. Don't have to go by size, just take a little chunk like that, and you put it on one end of it, okay? Then you're going to take, this is strange because Linda Wilson says her husband loves roast beef and horseradish. Well, Roger's in for a treat because she's going to make these for him. And all you do is you wrap that cream cheese, you wrap the roast beef around the cream cheese. Simple as that. That is one of the tastiest appetizers that you would ever want to find. And as you can see, I have a whole tray full here that is just, it only took maybe 15 minutes, maybe not even that long. And the taste, the flavor of this is really good. You'll think that it's going to be, what I have found when making hors d'oeuvres and special fancy things is, if it's time consuming, people think, well, it must be good. That's not necessarily so. If it's time consuming, there has to be a quicker way. That's my theory and my philosophy. And I'm usually trying to figure out, well, how can I make that quicker and easier? And this is one, and every time I make this, people say, oh, what's in there? That's so good. What is that? And all it is just deli. Of course, I would cut any of the fat or any of the gristle off because you don't want to serve that to your guests. Again, you take a little chunk, a little bit of the horseradish. Now, sometimes it's good because I happen to have an allergy to horseradish and I cannot eat it, So I'm always happy when people will tell you what's in a certain dip or a spread, because there are people that have allergies that they can't have any of it. And it's nice to tell you if there's an unusual ingredient that you might think somebody would have a reaction to. It's nice to let people know that. So there are our roast beef, cream cheese, and horseradish. Now that looks pretty bland like that, so let's decorate it up with some, we'll call them cherry tree ornaments because it's Christmas. Ha ha ha. They aren't really, but they look like they could be. And this is just curly end dye that we're going to put around the edge. Now look how easy that is and how different it looks just by putting a little bit of green. And it's not hard. My goodness, it's not hard, trust me. And you just buy a little bunch of curly end dye. You can use this. It's good to eat. It's wonderful in a salad. And you just put it around the edge. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate that time cue. Because there's so much to get done today. I feel like I'm in a hurry. I'm on a race. Because there's so many good ideas. It's hard just to pick a few to share with you. Okay? So there we are, our roast beef, horseradish, and cream cheese appetizers. Okay? Well, now this next one is real unusual, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. Let me do a little cleanup here. Okay, I'm always looking for something unusual, and usually when I do a buffet or an hors d'oeuvre party, I try to find something that is the most unusual. And I think that probably this takes the cake. Let me get my glasses here so I can read my recipe. You're going to start out with 2 packages of softened cream cheese. Okay? There's 2 packs, softened cream cheese. The low fat or the light cream cheese could be fine. You could use that. Then we're going to put in a half a cup of sour cream. Okay, now I'm not going to measure this because this would be about half of this because this is 16 ounces. So we'll say it's about a half a cup. Sorry, I need about a little less than that. My math is not real good today because I got so many things on my mind. I better put a little bit more of that back. Okay. Anyways, remember, it's a half a cup. It will be included in your recipe. All right. And then we need 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise. Okay. Is this 3 tablespoons, Linda? That looks like a little bit more. We're not going to use quite all of that. All right. Then we're going to just mix it up, blend it together. Now, this is going to be a basis for 3 different kinds of a cheese spreads. You want to make sure that this is softened because if it isn't, you're going to have a really rough time blending it. Okay? So we're going to make 3 different spreads out of this base. And that's what I'm looking for, things that are especially nice but aren't so time consuming. Okay? I probably will let that go just a little bit longer, but for the sake of time, it will be all right. Now, in one bowl, we're going to take about a cup of this. Okay? That's about a cup. And in that, we're going to put some garlic salt. Let's see, my garlic salt. And this says 1.5 teaspoons of garlic salt. Now, that's a lot, but that's what the flavor of this is going to be. Okay, looks like we got a little problem with the garlic salt here. There we go. Sometimes this stuff will definitely dry out. Okay, so 1.5 teaspoons sounds like a lot, but this is one of those things when you eat it, you know you're eating garlic. So save that till it's the last thing until you're ready to go home. That's probably when you'd want to serve this or taste it, okay? Then we're going to have, besides that, we're going to put some Tabasco sauce, just a few drops of Tabasco. I better go with the smaller one. And that's, because you know what that's like, that's going to be rough. Okay, and we're going to mix this up because this is going to be known as our garlic spread. Now you can put some other, if you have some fine herbs, you could put those in there. You could put some basil in there if you wanted to. Anything that complements garlic would be fine in this spread. Okay? And after you've mixed it, mix it around real good. It's going to have a tang because you've got some of that Tabasco in there too. The Tabasco and the garlic together is going to be an interesting, okay? Now here's what we did, and I think this is nice. We took some just plain little, these are terracotta clay pots. And what we did, we lined it with foil. Now you want to be sure to line it with foil. That's necessary because you don't want to put the food directly into the terracotta pot. So we're going to put this dressing into the pot, okay? We'll clean it up so there's no chance. They have been washed and they're very clean, but we just don't want the food to get on that terracotta surface because it probably wouldn't be real healthy. But I'm sure that if you have adults at this party, and you just warn them, I'm sure that they're going to be careful about that. Okay, so there's the first one that we have. This is our garlic dip. Okay, I'll put that there for a minute. The next one we're going to do will be our cheese dip. Okay, again, we go back to our original source. Take another cup. Okay, I think we got it there. Make sure I have enough left for the last one. Okay. And this one this is cheese. And we're going to put 1/3 cup of cheese. This is Parmesan cheese. Okay. So we're going to put the Parmesan cheese in there. All right. And we're going to put a little bit of salt. Okay. A little bit of onion salt. Okay, a little less than about 3/4 of a teaspoon of onion salt. You could omit the other salt if you wanted to, and just go with all onion salt. I think that's sometimes it's a little bit strong. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, about a teaspoon of that. Worcestershire sauce. Okay. Then what we're going to do is really mix this up good. Okay. A lot of Parmesan cheese. You're going to have a real strong Parmesan cheese flavor in this. Okay. Just mix it up until it is incorporated very well. Should have a little bigger bowl for this, it looks like. Do you ever do that? Get started with something? One time I was making something, I had 3 different size bowls until I got the right one, because you keep adding things, you think, well, this will do it. Then you add something more and you think, I better get a bigger bowl. You know, I'm one of those cooks that likes to dirty everything in the kitchen anyway. It doesn't matter what's in the cupboard. It gets dirty when I'm cooking. And the cleanup is horrendous at my house and here at home, too. Okay, so now we have it all mixed up pretty well. We could probably do it a little better if I had some more time. But just so you get the idea, we're mixing it up, mixing it up. You have to incorporate all the flavors. You don't want somebody to get a big taste of Worcestershire sauce because it all ran to one area. So that's our Parmesan. Okay, and again, we're going to put it in our terracotta pot, being sure that it goes down into the lining, okay, because we don't want that to go on the clay itself. Okay. You say, now what are you going to do with that, Arlene? Well, I'm going to show you in just a minute. Let me make you one more because these are so fun. There's that one. We have the last one to make, and I'm just going to make it in this pan. This one's going to have almonds in it. We're going to take 1/4 of a cup of softened butter, which is 1/2 of a stick of butter. You really have to work with this soft. I mean, you couldn't fudge it all with it, okay? So, your softened butter's there. Then we're going to add about 1/4 of a cup of sugar, which I don't seem to have here. Let me get some sugar. I think it's pretty unusual that they would use sugar in this, but I think it's because of the almonds and there's raisins in this, which is a little different. It's kind of a fruity flavor, and we need to. I'd probably cut that down and not use as much as this recipe is calling for. It says 1/4 of a cup. I'd probably use about 1/8 of a cup. Let's go a little less than that because I think it's better if it's not as sweet. Then we're going to put some raisins, and that's about a good 1/4 of a cup, maybe a few more. Okay, and our slivered almonds. You can toast these or just put them out of the package. That'll give it a really nutty flavor. Okay, I need a little bit stiffer something here to work with than that. Now, you just keep, a little piece of paper in there we didn't know. Okay. Anyway, we're going to just mix this all together. Isn't it fun to do these types of things at this time of the year, particularly? But, you know, when you learn how to do them, you find that it's not so hard. You would do some things like this if you're going to have a group in for a Saturday evening or someone's coming over to play Scrabble or whatever. This isn't that hard, these types of things, because you're starting with a basic recipe. Okay, so there is our last one, and it is called our almond spread. And we've just mixed it up, and we're putting it in the clay pot. Whoops. I might add, too, while we're talking about it, you really need, this close to Christmas, we're about 2 weeks away, something like that. We really need to be getting all of our linens out and making sure that they're clean and prepared and ready. If there's any spots that you need to deal with, get the spot removers, get whatever it is that's that you're going to be using for your dinners and your parties. Get them out and look them over so you don't have to do all that to last minute, because the last minute stuff will drive you crazy. Now let me show you what we're going to do with those 3 little spreads that we made. You're going to take a tray, a nice square tray, okay? And you're going to put your pots. Let's see, that was the almond one. Let me show you what we're going to put. We're going to put a little sign here. This is cross-stitched, and Linda Wilson did that for us. This is the garlic spread here. And this one is our cheese spread. Aren't they cute? Then, so it looks like they're in our garden, you take these tiny little oyster crackers and you just put them all around it. And then people can dip the oyster crackers into the dip. Okay, probably going to need about 1.5 bags. I don't think that's quite going to be enough to cover everything. Maybe it is. Maybe add just a few more. But we're going to send you, if you send for the recipes, we are going to give you the instructions on how to do the cross stitch too, because I think you're going to like that a lot. Okay, so there it is. That's our 3 spreads out of one basic recipe. And there they are, clay pots, okay? I have one more I want to show you really quickly because it's a wonderful fruit dip. Let me just move this out of the way. It's so easy, the kids, like I said, the kids can make it. I have that here. It's going to take some apples that you've already sliced, and you have them not peeled, but you have them cored, and we have them covered with lemon juice. And all it is another package of the cream cheese, and you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Now, when we get done making this, everybody's going to say to you, "This looks like peanut butter," and it really does. But it's called Harvest Dip, and it's the most wonderful tasting, easy. All you do, you add this to this, 3/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay, you get rid of the tray. You add a little bit of vanilla. We get the vanilla open. Doesn't seem like we can. You know, this always happens to me. I get going, and think everything's open. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Anyway, to save time, you're going to put a teaspoon of vanilla into this. Mix this very, very well. Okay? When you're done mixing this, you'll be amazed at how creamy this sauce or this dip will be. And you're going to put it out when you have strawberries, or you could use it with apples or oranges, any kind of fruit. It's a pleasant tasting, very pleasant tasting dip. And it gets creamier, it seems, the longer you leave it out. And the combination, of the brown sugar and the cream cheese together is wonderful. Very refreshing, very tasty. You can see, now I've used dark brown sugar. If you want to use the lighter brown, that's fine. But you really need to beat this so it's really, really smooth. Okay? I think we're getting there. A little taste of vanilla would be an addition, but you understand, since we couldn't get it open, sometimes you just have to get a hold of it. There we go. And what I would do with this is I would put it on a nice big tray. I'd put my little bowl in the center. I would add my cream cheese and brown sugar that has been beat very, very well. Probably a little bit longer than what I'm doing, maybe even with the mixer, okay? No, we don't have too many minutes left. Put it in there, okay? Looks like peanut butter, doesn't it? It's not. It's called Harvest Dip. And it's so refreshing, and the taste with apples is wonderful. And what we've used here, look how nice this color is. We've used the red, the green, and the golden delicious. These are Granny Smiths. You could arrange them, or you could just stack them all around the dip. But what a wonderful, refreshing change after you've been eating a lot of the other foods that we've been talking about, just to have a piece of fruit and to have a little dip with it. It's very refreshing, very, very refreshing. And I think that I've given you some ideas today. I hope I have. I trust that this has helped you with your menus for the holiday season. And don't be afraid to try. It's my favorite word. Just try it. I didn't know if I could ever do this until I tried. And I tried and found out I could. I was as surprised as anybody. But anyway, we'll be back in just a minute to show you everything we've prepared today. I hope you've learned a few things today. I think I have, like to get my vanilla bottle open before I get on the air, but you understand. Anyway, I just want to show you, when you have a buffet, take all the chairs away from the table. You don't need people bumping into them as they're going around. And everybody has access the whole way around the table. Be sure you have little forks of some kind or little toothpicks next to finger food so that people aren't using their fingers. They're using them to get them onto their plate. And I think these are some cute little paper plates. I think that's all right to use whenever you're in the holiday season and you have so much to do that you just don't want to be doing a lot of dishes. This is a basic, simple thing that you can put together very simply and very quickly. And next week we'll be celebrating Christmas together. So be sure to join us next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you right here at home. Bye-bye. Well, we've finished the appetizers, and I hope I've given you some really good ideas. How about those little clay pot dips? Unique, isn't it? But they really make a great presentation. Well, with the appetizers out of the way, now we move on to the grand buffet for Christmas Day. Wait till you see this baked ham and all the goodies that accompany it. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Has it been a wonderful day for you? I'll tell you, this time of the year, it's a wonderful time. Celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ is something to celebrate and be happy about. And we're here cooking up a Christmas dinner par excellence, I hope. We're having a good time doing it. And this time of the year particularly, friends and family mean so much to us. And I feel very blessed because I have wonderful family and wonderful friends. And how do you like this beautiful pinafore apron that I'm wearing? Isn't this beautiful? This has truly been a labor of love. And God has added to my life so richly in the last year for a very good friend of mine who stitched this apron together for me. And I would like to introduce her to you. Come on, Rose.
Every stitch was a joy, Arlene.
This is Rose Divnikar, who works with us on At Home. And you see her not very often because she doesn't like to be on this side of the camera, but she made this beautiful apron for me, and I just want to thank you.
You're welcome. It was a joy.
Bless you. Okay, stay with me. Come over here. We're going to invite the folks to come right back after this message because we're going to start our Christmas dinner, and you're not going to want to miss 1 minute of it. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and let me tell you what our menu for today is. This is a beautiful baked ham, and I'm not going to give you step-by-step instructions, but I'm going to tell you because this ham is so easy to do. I learned a long time ago from a good friend that if you bake a ham, start it very slow in about a 300-degree oven, And just pour plain old apple cider vinegar. That's what we want all over the ham, and let it go for about 4 hours. Just keep basting it with plain old vinegar. You say, why vinegar? Vinegar, that acid in the vinegar tends to make the wildness sometime, or the strong flavor of a ham, it just neutralizes it. Then about the last hour and a half, I have scored the ham at first. Let me go back and say, score the ham, pour the vinegar on it. Let it go for 4 hours or so. Then come back and put your brown sugar, pack your brown sugar in the scores because they have opened up. And then put your pineapple and cherries on, and take your pineapple juice and 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar and cook it together till it melts, and then baste the whole top of it. And you will have, look how juicy that ham is. Can you see that? That is a ham that we're going to be serving to some of our family and friends in just a few moments. To go with this, we're going to make a few things. And first of all, let me tell you about our beets that we have cooking here. I want to let you know that these little tiny beets, we're going to make pickled beets and eggs is what this is called. A lot of people think that that's best to have that in the summertime, but beets are very good for you, and they're always tasty, no matter when you serve them. So we've just warmed them up a little bit in this, in our pan, and we're going to add some vinegar to it because that's what's going to pickle them is the vinegar. And I would add about 1/4 of a cup. This is 3 cans, by the way. You would do it by tablespoon. And again, you always test according to your taste. If you like it tartar, then you put more vinegar. If you like it sweeter, you put more sugar. After you have done that, then you add some sugar. You can use sweet and low. I've done it with sweet and low lots of times. Just add some sugar to it. And again, once the sugar has totally dissolved, the best way to figure out if you like the taste of the pickling is just to taste it. And if you like it a little bit sweeter, I think for this many cans, I would just add just a nip more sugar. Then you're going to put just some good old black pepper, fresh ground black pepper, all over the top because that's what makes them good. Okay. Now I would take them off at this particular point. Okay. Cut the fire out. You don't even have to let them boil. It just really is taking the chill off the beet juice that's in there. And next you have hard-boiled eggs. Now a lot of people wait till these cool down. I don't. I put them in then because the longer that the eggs are in there, the darker they're going to get to be pickled. If you find out you have more beets than juice, just add a little bit of water to it. That will be fine because it will just water down the beet juice, but it will still be fine. No problem with that. And what you would do, you would take them and you would put them, when this cools down to room temperature, then you'd put them in a crock, and you want to put them in the refrigerator because they're good cold or they're good hot, but mostly they're good cold. And you mix them up, and while they're in the refrigerator, you keep turning them because if you have an egg that's not totally submerged in the beet juice, what happens is it'll have a ring around it like an Easter egg, and we don't want that. So these, we'll let them sit until they get to room temperature, and then we'll chill them down in the refrigerator, and that's as easy a pickled beets and eggs recipe as you're going to find. Okay, one of the other vegetables that we're working on is steamed broccoli. We're just going to put a simple little garlic and oil sauce on that. Working on that, we've got our ham, we've got pickled beets and eggs, and we're going to keep the steamer going. Remember to keep the little vent holes closed when you're steaming vegetables. All right, to add to this, we want to make the linguine salad or a pasta salad. And this salad is so easy. It's no chore when it comes to thinking, usually you go with, we should have scallop potatoes, or we should have this, or we should have that. Now, I don't know what Christmas Day is like at your house, but at our house, I like to prepare the meal and then relax. I don't like to be tied up in the kitchen all day because I think we do that every day, preparing meals. So it's nice to plan a menu that you can do most of the work ahead. It can be left on the table for not a real long time, but you don't have to jump up and hurry up and refrigerate it. Plan a meal like that and make it easier on yourself. Do portions. If you're planning on people stopping in through the day and then again in the evening, you might want to make 2 portions. Just put out half of your portion of a linguine salad or the pickled beets and eggs or your broccoli. Steam some fresh broccoli at night, because then you always have a fresh look to your table instead of putting everything out and then at 2 o'clock and then at 8 or 9 o'clock at night you're saying, oh my goodness, this table looks horrible. So just be thoughtful in that area when you're planning your table for the holidays. Well, let's get on with our pasta salad. I have 1 pound package. Now these are the rotinis. These are the little, we used to call them springs when I was a kid because that's what they look like to us, the little springs. And we have cooked them and they're cold. And you want to cook them, make sure you rinse them well because they will become mushy, and don't cook them too long. All right, to that, we're going to add our green peppers. Now, with a salad like this, you can add anything you want. My sister-in-law says she puts pepperoni in hers sometimes. She puts sliced mushrooms. Just whatever you want to put in will be fine. Anything and everything. Good time to maybe take some of the vegetables left over from a party that you'd had a night or two before. Get them out, chop them up, and put them in the salad. You can put little chunks of salami. I'm adding, this is 1 cucumber, a green pepper. This is diced red tomatoes. Okay, of course, what other color tomatoes are there? Okay, there's only red tomatoes. Oh, that's right, there are green tomatoes. That's right, we made them not too long ago. And then a few olives, just add those too. You know, the floor director over here, you know, it's Christmas time. Let's see what's in your stocking, Dale. Or what isn't in your stocking, maybe is a better thing. Okay, let's mix this up. And what you're going to flavor this with is, like I said, there are no limitations to what you can put. If you like some green onion, put green onion. You can add any of the things. Let's see, I have a whole list of options. Mushrooms, pepperoni, cauliflower, broccoli, onion, anything you want. Cheese, little chunks of cheese. You can use any of those things. But the key and the secret is, that, of course, this is from the company that makes this particular kind of spice, and it's called Salad Supreme. And Salad Supreme, Dale, would you open that for me while I'm doing my other? Salad Supreme is a spice that really perks up this whole salad. It's a salad that, like I said, it will keep for a while. It'll keep till the next day. It'll keep, until they eat it all up. Thanks, Dale. Okay, now some people say to use a whole bottle. I think that's too much. So I usually do about half a bottle. I'll put some in, and then I'll wait, mix it up, okay? And just to wait and see, because if it gets too much, it's overpowering, really overpowering. All right? So I think we'll add a little bit more, okay? And this is a real conglomeration of all different kinds of seasonings and herbs in there. It smells good. I think there's a lot of paprika from the way it smells. It's a little expensive, but it does taste good, and you can't duplicate it because there's such a variety. Then after you get to that point, you take, now this is a really large one. You only need a 12 ounce, so we're just going to use half of this particular dressing. And we're going to pour that all over. Okay? Now remember I told you that we needed something that we could do ahead? This can be made the day before and refrigerated overnight to make it really blend the flavors. They're delicious when you do that. You see what a wonderful, really a pretty salad that is? I think it's just gorgeous. With the black olives, maybe put some more black olives in there. You want to put some more green olives in there, pepperoncinis. You can put anything you want in it because there are no limitations to this salad, and this salad will hold up under a day of activity, believe me. And it seems like, to people I've talked to when I've made it, the longer you let it get cold, and like the day after Christmas, it would probably really be good. You'd probably really enjoy it that day. But that is our pasta salad. We're going to put that in a big, beautiful serving bowl and show you that at the end of the program, along with all the other things that we have been preparing. Okay, so we have our pasta salad. We have our pickled beets and eggs. Okay, and we're going to just set that out there. We have to have a dessert, and I know that you've been doing those cookies like we showed you. We showed you all the different kinds of cookies to make. I know that you've been working on that. And I just thought, I never realized that pies were a big part of Christmas desserts, particularly not here in the Pittsburgh area. Now, you folks there in Chicago and in the Kansas City area, maybe it is with you, but we never realized that pies were so important at Christmas time. until I was talking to some friends, and they said, oh, my mother always made cherry pies. She would make pumpkin pies. I said, for Christmas? Yeah. I said, that sounds like Thanksgiving to me. She said, no, we made a whole variety. Let me check my broccoli over here. Yeah, I think that's about done. Let's turn that off. Anyway, she said, no, we make pies because it's always talk about a Christmas pie. And I thought, well, you know, there's songs even written about a Christmas pie, so why not? Well, we thought we'd make you the wonderful pecan pie, which is deadly on the diet, but oh, it tastes so good. It's so good. So we're going to start. This is a very simple, very easy pie recipe for pecan pie. First of all, you have to have a 9-inch unbaked pie crust, okay? And you have to be sure that you bring your edges up very high on your pie crust, because if you don't, when you put the filling in and it begins to bake, it will bake all over your oven and it will be horrible. So be sure to put a high flute on the edge of your pie crust, okay? Well, we start now with 3 eggs. Okay. Let's take a look. Whoops, this one. Look at the difference in the size of eggs. This is a medium and this is an extra large. Doesn't seem like there's that much, does it? The price is a big difference, let me tell you. That's where you'll see the difference, is in the price. But it's Christmas and everybody spends a little extra at Christmas, and some even spend a lot extra, which they live all year to regret. And I hope that you haven't done that this year. I hope you've made gifts from the heart. Okay, so we're going to take our 3 eggs. Let's beat them up a little bit. Okay. Usually in recipes, when it calls for eggs, they're referring to large eggs, the large size eggs. Okay, to that we're going to add 2/3 cup sugar. Okay, and I'm going to beat after each one because I think it makes it better. Sometimes if you get a bite of a pie and you find a big lump of sugar, you know that somebody didn't blend it real well, because that should be blended totally together. All right, now here's the stuff that it'll stick to you if you don't stick to it. Boy, this stuff is thick. This is 1 cup of Cairo dark corn syrup. And the floor director told me he was raised on Cairo. I said, my. Used to eat on pancakes. I never realized that. He used to on pancakes. Well, that's 1 cup of dark Cairo syrup. We're going to blend that. Boy, it gets thick instantly when you add that Cairo. You almost can't move the whip around here. But isn't it a wonderful time of the year? I mean, just Christmas, it's upon us, and just being with friends and family in the kitchen and talking, the hustle and the bustle has finally coming to a close and winding down. And aren't you thankful it is? I mean, by now, you have bought your last present, you've shopped your last gift. This is it. What is done, and what isn't, it's not going to get done till next year. That's the way I feel. It feels good when you get to that point. All right, now we're going to add some melted margarine. Okay. We have some melted margarine. Mix that up well. Okay. Great. See how nice and fluffy that is? That's the way it should be. And then, of course, our cup of walnuts. And I cannot stress to you how important it is that when you buy walnuts, you get fresh ones and not rancid ones. Trust me, pecans. Slip of it there. When you buy pecans, make sure that they are fresh, because if they taste strong, they will ruin and flavor whatever you're baking or making. My friend Rose, who made me this apron, she's telling me that she makes these wonderful, like little meringues, and she uses pecans in them. And she had some rancid pecans, and it totally changes the flavor, and it's a horrible flavor. And a lot of times where you buy them, they've been packaged for so long sitting on the shelves that the grocer doesn't even realize that they're that old. But if you take them back, I'm sure that they will be very happy to refund your money. So what you would do is you pour your filling into your pie shell. Now remember, that's pecans, not walnuts. It's pecans. How did I slip up on that? I imagine you could make this pie, though, and use walnuts if you want, if you didn't like pecans. Some people don't like pecans as well as they do walnuts. Personally, I like the variety, I think is nice. Like I said, scrape all that out because that's a bite somebody won't have if we leave it in the pan. Okay? All right, we're going to take our pie and we're going to put it in the oven. This is going to bake at 350 degrees for 50 minutes. Okay? 350 degrees for 50 minutes. Okay. Well, let's see. What do we have done here now? We've got the salad made. Our broccoli's going to town. Dale, how much time do we have here? Okay. You know, holiday time, a lot of people are drinking, celebrating, and not using common sense to know that, number one, you shouldn't be drinking because when you're driving, it's just not right. So people say, yeah, but you know, we have to have a little something to drink because it's the holidays. Well, I don't necessarily concur with that, but I wanted to give you an option of something you could make that is real different and so tasty. This is what I call a cranberry spritzer. Now, cranberry juice is very good for you. You can buy the low calorie, or you can buy just the regular. You can buy generic. Generic doesn't have as much juice in it as the label brand does, but cranberry juice is very good for you. All you do is you take your pitcher and you put a few ice cubes in there, and you pour it pour it into about a third. Okay? It's nice because it looks nice for the holiday table because it's red. Then you add any kind of a lemon lime drink. Doesn't have to be a name brand, but any kind of a lemon lime soda. Just add that to the cranberry. And did you know that if you pour it down the side, it's supposed to keep some of the fizz better than if you pour it straight into a cup or a glass or a pitcher? So you just pour it up to almost the very top of the pitcher. And this is lemon lime. It's easy to make. Have you ever thought, oh, I wish I could make a fruit punch of some kind? You could put this in a fruit bowl, and what you do after that is you add some slices of lemon and some slices of lime to it. This is absolutely one of the most refreshing drinks because the cranberry is tart, and usually a lot of the things that you're going to be having will have a sweetness to them, and I like a lot of this, so I put a lot in it. I like it when it goes down the side of the pitcher. Basically, that's your cranberry spritzer. It's good in the summertime, it's good in the wintertime. It's really festive for a holiday table. I hope that we have given you some ideas. I hope that you haven't spent a lot of time just trying to think, what in the world can I make? The ham seems to be the traditional thing. Seems to be something that people associate that with Christmas, like they associate the turkey with Thanksgiving. And I thought this first Christmas that we would spend together, I would make the traditional ham for you. This is just some ideas. What I would put with that ham besides my pasta salad is I would bake some sweet potatoes, and don't put any candy on them, or don't just have a plain baked sweet potato in case somebody is limited and cannot eat what you have prepared. A baked sweet potato is good and healthy. I would bake some warm rolls or toast some rolls of some kind. I would also add maybe a salad tray like some radishes and some celery and some carrot sticks. Try to keep in mind that you may have friends in, or maybe somebody in your family likes just plain foods and doesn't like the fancy things or the things with a big dressing or cream or whatever on them. And the mark of a good hostess and a good cook is that you always consider the guest, not what you necessarily want to make, but what your guests will be able to eat. Because there's nothing so satisfying as at the end of a party for someone to say, boy, you know, I really enjoyed that. I've never tasted that before. I'm on a diet or a special food diet, and I could have some of that, and that was really good. You know what else I do? I keep a little kind of a log that when we have a party, and I keep all the guests, the name of the guests that were there. Then if someone said, I really enjoyed that, I mark that on there. So the next time they come to my house, maybe I'll prepare that same dish for them again. You will not believe how many times they'll say, you remembered that I really like that broccoli, or I really like the pasta. And those are things that are marks of a good hostess. And I would ask you just to try to get a little organized before your meal this time. Get your linens out, get the table all set, and don't get so worried about making this perfect meal that when the kids come in with the new toys that maybe they want you to share or look at, don't push them away, but just take the time to spend it with them. Remember, Christmas is a wonderful family day. And with your family around you, what more could you want? Well, we're going to be back with the entire spread in just a minute, so don't go away. We'll be back with some final thoughts in just a minute. Well, I'm with my family, and it's such a wonderful time to be with them. Merry Christmas, Dad. Okay. Merry Christmas, Paul. And a Merry Christmas to you. And we've prepared a whole bevy of wonderful things for our friends and family. Well, here's our friends coming in now. Come on in. Help yourself. Hi. Good to see you. Look at this. How are you? Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Bless you. This is great. How you doing? Good to see you. How are you? Good to see you, Arlene. Hi, guys. Come on in. Merry Christmas. So glad you could come. Please, help yourself. Make yourself right at home. Merry Christmas, Dee. Please. And I wish that you could be here with us today because it's a wonderful time. Come on, get a plate. Grab something to eat. There's plenty here. You've been watching while we've been putting it together. Now we're going to share a little time where we want to sing something specially for you. Okay? Silent night, holy night, all is calm. Join me. All is bright round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. Thanks, gang, for singing. That's great. That's great. I trust that you will have the most wonderful Christmas that you've ever experienced. May I admonish you just to stop and think about what Christmas is really all about. In the festivities of the day, think about the real greatest gift that you could ever receive, the gift of our Lord Jesus Christ. And I trust that today is a very special day in your home. And let this spirit of joy that we're experiencing today, I trust that it will just keep going on throughout the new year. I want to say that you should look forward to a very blessed new year because good things come from those who know the Lord Jesus as their Savior. If you haven't had that opportunity, I pray that you would invite Him to come into your heart today, the greatest gift of all. Well, Merry Christmas, folks. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you, and Merry Christmas to you too, and God bless you great. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come. Well, there you have it. From appetizers to the grand buffet on Christmas Day. Didn't I tell you that ham was something to see? And it tastes just as good as it looked. I hope that we have helped you to make your Christmas plans just a little easier this year. And I hope that you'll try these recipes. You know, for your family and your friends, it's really important to make this day very, very special. And you can do it with just a little bit of planning. From all of us here at Home to all of you there in your home, we want to say a very Merry Christmas and a very blessed New Year.